On a blustery Thursday night in Berkeley, it's time for Pac-12 baseball from Stu Gordon Stadium. Evans Diamond and a familiar matchup, the 9th-ranked Stanford Cardinal in town to take on the Cal Golden Bears. I'm Guy Haberman with you for the first of these three, but it's the second meeting between these two teams this year. Already played one non-conference game back in late February. That game was at Sunken Diamond, a game that Cal won, and they'll play once more in non-conference action later in the season as well. But as you can see, over 500 meetings between these two, and no love lost. There's no question about it. So many ties between the two programs. And it's a Bay Area guy that's leading off for Cal and playing well. The sophomore from nearby Richmond, California, Rodney Green Jr., coming off a very good weekend. Cal lost 2 of 3 to Arizona State, but it was despite Green trying to do just about everything on the bases. He stole 7 bags in the last 3 games, including Monday night's game against Pacific. And the game that Cal won, he gets a lot of credit for it. Hit a home run early in the game in the first inning, and then scored the game-tying run in the 8th. Cade Kretschmar would eventually hit the walk-off home run in the Saturday win for Cal. A sophomore on the other side, last year proved as advertised when he was the freshman of the year in the Pac-12, Braden Montgomery. Back for more this year and dominating opposing pitchers again. And leading the way for Stanford, 8 homers this year for Montgomery, and that leads the Cardinal third best in the Pac-12. It's not just the long ball, he's third in batting average in the league as well, 10 points behind his teammate Tommy Troy. He's been really hot in the last 5 games. He's been producing. All right, just about ready for first pitch here at Evans Diamond, Stu Gordon Stadium. A night that's already seen a couple of minutes of very light drizzle with rain in the forecast tonight and into late tonight and overnight, and maybe a little bit early tomorrow. But it's supposed to be a very nice weekend, 70 degrees on deck for the Saturday game as Daniel Colwell warms up, the left-hander, preparing for one of the top lineups in the country. A Stanford team that is back from Norman, Oklahoma, where they took 2 of 4 from the Sooners. A series that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you take a look at the Stanford lineup presented by Graduate Hotels. Eddie Park will lead off. Now let's switch at the top with Tommy Troy dropping down to the 3-hole, then Braden Montgomery. There you have 2 of the top hitters in the league, with Troy at 413 and Montgomery at 402. And it's been a pretty consistent lineup the rest of the way. Moore, Bowser, Rios, the lefty on the mound, Sapien, the DH, and Owen Cobb is the shortstop, batting 9th. Daniel Colwell's going to get the start, the 5th-year left-hander, the graduate student from Berkeley, 6'1", 175 pounds, transferred from UCLA. There you can see the work he's done so far this season, but this is his first start as a Bear. 13th appearance. Cal's had to manipulate the starting rotation after the injury at the beginning of March to Ian May that knocked him out for the season. So we'll see. Looking at about 65 pitches in all likelihood, Mike New said before the game, for Colwell, and then they'll try to manage the game through the bullpen for the Cal Bears before they get their regular starters on schedule Friday and Saturday with this series. A bit of a short week. There's the outfield with Rodney Green in center. Loma Vita's going to be behind the plate. Johnston and Kretschmar on the corner outfield spots. Schultz at first, Soto at third. Carson Crawford will be at shortstop, and Max Handren will be at second base. A couple of lefties and the switch-hitting Montgomery in the lineup. Lefty here to start. Eddie Park, the center fielder, stands in, and Colwell's first pitch is up high. William Van Raphorst calling balls and strikes. 7 o'clock on time today, 7:05, 7:05 tomorrow, and then 6:05 for the third game on Saturday. As Park takes a strike. Park hitting .410 in Pac-12 play. Stanford team coming in at 7-2, tied for first place in the pack. entering play today with the ASU Sun Devils, who are hosting Washington State tonight. ASU was just here over the weekend and took 2 of 3 from Cal. Cal at 3-9 in Pac-12 play enters tied with Arizona for the very important 9th spot, as Park fouls that away again in the standings. That will be the final team into the Pac-12 tournament in Scottsdale, with the field expanding this year. And so 9th place is very important. And we're just about, for these two teams, to the midway point of the season. So still plenty of time for Cal to get things going as Park strikes out looking to start the game. A good start for Daniel Colwell. And there's one down. Now it'll be Carter Graham. Colwell, fastball, slider, changeup. Throws that one to the backstop through the wickets of Loma Vida. Carter Graham flip-flopping with Tommy Troy today in the order. That's the only change from the norm for Stanford. And he's had a good turnaround this year after starting 2 for 30 on the season. He started to pick it up. Remember, this was a big part of the power in this lineup last year. He skies this back and out of play. Loma Vida's going to give it a look. That's going to get out of play and into the seats. 22 home runs last year for Graham to lead the Pac-12. Three entering play today, but still it's been a Stanford team that has found the long ball elsewhere. They've hit a lot of home runs. They're second in the Pac-12 in home runs per game, just under 2 per game. As that fastball misses up high in the count, is now 2 balls and a strike to Graham at first base again today. This gray sky familiar to Stanford. These temps a little cooler than what they encountered in Norman. High in the air, foul territory, lot of room. Schultz, long run, and he overruns it. And Graham will live for another pitch. That was a long way to go for the first baseman Schultz. Ton of foul territory here. And he was the only one that had a shot at it. Kretschmar was nowhere in the vicinity. And all that momentum, he couldn't hit the brakes in time to do what the catchers always tell you. That ball's going to come back towards the field. And so it's 2-2 here to Graham. Colwell's pitch. Fouled away again. Stanford has won 8 of its last 10 games entering this, including that 4-game split with Oklahoma. They'll play a couple of games Monday and Tuesday at home. Chopper over to third base, hop into the stomach of Dom Soto, makes the throw across route number 2. Now it's Tommy Troy with 2 down. Texas Tech will be on the farm Monday, Tuesday. You can see Carter Graham whispering some hints to Troy as he jogs by. Here's one of the top hitters in the pack now. And he's been on fire. And he swings and hammers this to left. Will it stay fair? No. It was Carlton Fisking it down the first base line. And it's just a long and loud strike. Entering action tonight, 11 for his last 22, with 4 extra base hits in that stretch. The slider in there for strike 2. There's the .413 average. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Colwell. Stanford is aggressive early with The left-handed senior played at UCLA last year, where he had a 4.72 earned run average, 25 strikeouts in 40 innings. He pitched 2 2/3 against Stanford back at the end of February in a game that Cal won on the farm. Another 0-2 pitch on the way, and that misses inside. On that day, February 21st, Colwell went 2 2/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk and a strikeout. 1-2 to Troy. On the ground through the middle and into left center field, a base hit. Troy is going to hold up at first base with a 2-out single. And Stanford has its first base runner of the night. And he gets aboard now for the switch hitting Braden Montgomery. Montgomery, the Pac-12 leader in on-base and slugging entering play tonight. You see the average there, 402, just behind Tommy Troy, trying to chase down his teammate, and he takes a strike. These two faced off back on February 21st, with Colwell striking Montgomery out in their single meeting. Throw over to first base. Troy, who runs very well, being held on by Peyton Schultz. Troy has not been thrown out this season. 10 for 10 stolen base tries this year. Colwell throws home and misses wide, 1-1. This is strength against strength in this series. This dominant Stanford lineup against a Cal team with a very good starter ERA. But the caveat here is that Colwell is just making his first start. Tough pick for Soto, helping his pitcher out, and a nice play over at third base. And so Colwell works around the 2-out hit for Tommy Troy to get Montgomery to go down to the bottom of the first inning here at Berkeley. Bottom of the first inning. And so Cal will get to face off with Quinn Matthews, one of the best pitchers in the Pac-12 this year. And a little change in the Cal order, a little adjustment. Rodney Green Jr. is going to pop into the starting spot, in the leadoff spot. Cal lineup presented by Graduate Hotels. Dom Soto will bat second, and Caleb Lomavita drops down to the third place in the order. And Schultz and Kretschmar, who had the big home run on Saturday night, to face Quinn Matthews, a left-handed senior who enters third in the Pac-12 in earned run average at 2.78. There you see the numbers: 45 innings of work, 53 strikeouts in those 45 and a third. 6'5" from Aliso Viejo in the Orange County area. And he'll face Rodney Green, lefty-lefty. 4 lefties in the lineup for Cal. And Matthews begins, and Green sprays it away. Rodney Green leads Cal in hitting at 293 against righties. He leads Cal in hitting on this season, 284, the number you just saw there, and he's ready to hit. He also leads Cal in batting average against lefties. This is not a Cal team that hits lefties very well, under 200 against left-handed pitching. And Green at 229 against lefties, the high water mark for the Bears. The 0-2 pitch, blocked by Malcolm Moore behind the plate, and it's 1-2. Rodney Green Jr. from El Cerrito High School, Richmond. Played basketball and baseball in high school. The 1-2 pitch. And it's really, after starting this season hot, and things settled down a little bit. Had a good weekend, but Mike New just shaking up the lineup with he and Loma Vita a little bit. A couple of sophomores who've seen their roles grow this year and trying to jumpstart the Cal offense. As Green swings and misses, ball in the dirt. Moore's going to step out to complete the 2-3 put out on the strikeout over to Graham Carter at first. Strikeout for Matthews, and that's the first out here in the Cal first. Quinn Matthews, 19th round pick of the Rays in last year's draft, came back to school and has been great. He had the best ERA on the team last year, 3.08, mostly in relief, made 9 starts last season, had 9 saves, and has come back and been even better this year. Dom Soto had a very good defensive first inning over at third, takes a ball. Matthews working quickly, and that's up high, ball 2. Matthews pitched on Friday in Norman, so moved up by a day to pitch here in this game tonight. In that Friday game against the Oklahoma Sooners, he went 7 2/3 innings. Pitched really well, just didn't get any run support. 3 hits, 2 earned, and those 2 earned were the only runs scored by either team in the game. Big breaking ball for a strike. And the count 2-2. He walked 4, he struck out 10. And Stanford lost 2-0. The 2-2 pitch, and that's low. And the count now full to Soto. Fastball 90-94 for Matthews. Slider, changeup, and a curve. And this ball's dug out on the infield. It'll be the first baseman Carter coming over. Good at bat from Soto. And Matthews battled back after falling behind 2-0 to get the pop out. And there's 2 down now for Caleb Loma Vita, the Cal catcher. On a cold night, that one stung. Loma Vita down to the 3 spot in the order today. And Matthews delivers low, 1-0. One 0 pitch. And that's a strike. And it's 1-1. 192. That's what Cal has hit this year against left-handed pitching. Team batting average against lefties. The pitch fouled away. A ball and 2 strikes now. Cal Bears beat Pacific here on Monday night in a 5-4 win. They had a couple of 1-run wins this weekend. Lost to Arizona State on Friday. Won a 1-run game on Saturday and lost a slugfest on Sunday. 15-10 was the score of that game. Here's the 2-2 to Loma Vita. Stays alive. And then they beat Pacific on Monday, and they stole 9 bags in that game against the Tigers here Monday night. The 2-2 pitch. Oh, Malcolm Moore thought he had strike 3. Payoff. On the ground sharply and through into left field. And Loma Vita with a 2-out single here in the first. And he gets on base in front of the first baseman, Peyton Schultz. Good to see that from Loma Vita. Goes down to get that 3-2 pitch. He pointed to Mike New and said, "Thanks for batting me third tonight." So now here's Schultz, the Long Beach State transfer, sophomore. Right now, Quinn Matthews having trouble getting ahead of these Cal hitters. Matthews has pitched into the 8th inning in back-to-back starts. Here's his 20th pitch here in the first, and it's a strike. Cade Kretschmar, who's been swinging it well, is on deck for Cal. Quick throw over to first, and Loma Vida back in. As is normally the case here in Berkeley, a windy afternoon, while still cool, has turned into a little bit calmer of a night. 1-1 pitch. This ball is stung well out towards center. Eddie Park circling around, and he'll put it away. So just as his counterpart did in the top of the first inning, Quinn Matthews works around a 2-out single here in the bottom of the first, and we're through one here in Berkeley. Well, great matchup here of coaches who know each other very well. David Esker, who was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year last year for the third time in his fantastic career here in the Pac, once at Cal and twice now at Stanford, where he not only was a prolific winner, but also the head coach when Mike New, who now of course is Cal's coach, who took over for David Esker, was his pitching coach for 3 years as well. 41 years for Mark Marquis, his coach. David Esker was a great player at Stanford, and now in year number 6 back on the farm. As that pitch hits Malcolm Moore, and so he's aboard to start this second inning for Stanford. Daniel Colwell, 18 pitch first inning, facing Malcolm Moore, Drew Bowser, and Alberto Rios here in the second. So now Drew Bowser steps in, and he's been swinging a hot bat. 342 is his batting average in his last 9 games. 301 is what that hot streak got his average up to. 5 homers this year. Schultz holding Moore over at first, and Bowser again fouls this out of play 0-2. Bowser, of course, had the incredible postseason for Stanford. Stanford just crushed the ball in the postseason last year, and Bowser led the way with 6 postseason home runs as part of Stanford's second straight run to Omaha. The 0-2 pitch is fouled back again. We might run out of baseballs tonight at this rate, the way both teams are putting it out of play. The 0-2 blocked by Loma Vida. Colwell, and then in some combination expecting to see the Submariner Joe Williams tonight. Maybe Chris Stamos. The 1-2 pitch is hit well into center. Rodney Green Jr. has a beat on it. And he makes the catch in front of the warning track as Moore retreats to first. Stepping up the left fielder. And there's one down, and that'll be Alberto Rios. Seven-hitter hitting 355. That might tell you the story, or one way to tell the story of Stanford's lineup this year. Continuation of what it's been. Stanford's 6-5 away from home this season. 12-2 at Sunken Diamond. Long look, and Colwell comes home and misses well up and away, and it's 2-0. Moore does have a couple of steals this year in 2 tries. Rios has had a really productive stretch himself the last few weeks. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Right on that fastball, sends it to the screen. And it's 2-1. He's averaging a run per game in the last 10 and almost an RBI per game in that stretch. 10 runs scored in the last 10 games and 8 runs batted in. Thanks in part to a couple of homers. The 2-1. And that misses. Colwell, you can see his body language, wanted it badly. And now it's 3 balls and a strike. The 3-1. This is hit really well. Kretschmar racing back, track wall, leaps, and no chance. That is gone. Another home run for the scalding hot Alberto Rios, and Stanford takes a 2-0 lead. Well, they've been aggressive from the first pitch tonight, and for Rios it paid off. Ahead in the count, and an opposite field home run that really carried. Jake Sapien takes a strike as you take a look at what Rios just did to the opposite field. That was stroked. So now 3 homers and 10 RBIs, and this is his 11th game in that stretch. Jake Sapien, the DH, even now a ball and a strike. Stanford leading Cal here just in the top of the 2nd inning. At Stu Gordon Stadium, Evans Diamond, first of 3 between these two Cross Bay rivals. Daniel Caldwell on the mound for Cal, and he gets the Stanford DH Jake Sapien to strike out. 2nd strikeout for him. Just gave up the home run to Alberto Rios a moment ago to get Stanford started with the scoring. And now here's the 9th-place hitter, Owen Cobb. Colwell, the senior lefty, getting his first start of the year for Cal. UCLA transfer, and he faces Cobb. And for those of you just joining us, everybody is swinging tonight. Both teams, Cal's only batted once, foul balls all over the place, and Stanford's been very aggressive from the jump. And this ball's hit well to left. Johnston back to the wall, and that is gone. 2nd home run of the inning for the Cardinal, and Stanford leads 3-0. And the 2nd time that Cobb has homered off of Colwell this season. Cobb homered off of Colwell back on February 21st, the last time he faced him. Yeah, this ball got out in a hurry. For Cobb, home run number 4 this year. Now the leadoff man, Eddie Park, stands in. Well, they hit a lot of homers, 40 through 25 games entering this. Game number 26 tonight. So now it's 42 home runs on the season. And Stanford hit a program record 118 home runs last year. And entered tonight 13 homers ahead of last year's pace through 25 games. The 2-0 to Park, and this is hit well, and that's a base hit down to the corner. Kretschmar is going to go get it. Park wants 2. Kretschmar steps up, spins, fires into second base, and the throw's offline. Park held the bag, and he's got a 2-out double.
Carter Graham.
Hey, Stanford's in the groove right now. And Park was thinking double right out of the box. And now here's Carter Graham, but before he could step up, a meeting on the mound. Mike New out there. We mentioned it off the top, was hoping to get maybe 3 innings or so from Caldwell today. Said the pitch limit for him was 65 pitches. It was going to be a bullpen day for Cal. The short week, he did not want to move up his Friday, Saturday starters. Ian May injured back on May 3rd. That really created a shortfall in the starting rotation for Cal. They'll be on schedule with Christian Becerra and Paulshan Pasqualato in the next 2 games of the series, but they got to get through this. So Carter Graham stands in. And it's a towering foul ball out of play. Graham grounded out to third his first time. RBI opportunity for the first baseman with Eddie Park, who runs well over at second base after his double. Pitch number 40 for Caldwell is hit well into right and back and gone. Third home run of the inning for Stanford, and they are teeing off here on this Thursday night at Evans Diamond. It is 5-0. That's got to feel good for Graham. He's been swinging it better lately. I mentioned it. He had 22 homers last year. That's number 4 on the season for him. It's his second home run in as many games. He homered on Sunday against Oklahoma. And if he gets it going, watch out. Now here's Tommy Troy, 8th batter to step to the plate for Stanford here in the second. And action down in that Cal bullpen. Troy singled his first time. It's been a tough task for these Cal pitchers when you consider ASU and Stanford coming in back-to-back series. That's the 4 top hitters by average in the league. 2 on ASU, 2 on Stanford. They try to work through. That's up high. And the count 1 and 2. Tommy Troy and Braden Montgomery, who are 2 and 3 in average. And from Arizona State, Ryan Campos and New Contradas, who are 1 and 4 in the Pac-12 leaderboard in batting average. And Troy draws the walk. His inning started with a hit batter. And so now Montgomery will step up, and Montgomery makes it 9 Cardinal that have stepped to the plate in this inning. And Cal did not have that success with Campos and Contradas over the weekend. With those two were combined 15 for 30. 15 hits and 30 at-bats between the two of them. The math on that average about as easy as it gets. Montgomery grounded out to third on a ball that he hit hard, but Dom Soto made a nice play on. Caldwell throws home. Montgomery was right on it. I mentioned the 118 home runs last year for Stanford. 23 homers in the postseason. The 0-1 pitch, and Montgomery hits this high in there, you're right. Kretschmar over, and in foul ground he makes the catch. Along the warning track, he did a lot of running in this inning. 9 batters came to the plate for Stanford. 3 of them hit homers. 5 runs in the inning for the Cards. Well, Cal's got a hole to dig out of as we go to the bottom of the second inning. The Stanford offense, as advertised, 5-run top of the second. Nice. Cal comes up for the second time tonight. Cade Kretschmar, the right fielder, to face Quinn Matthews, who's been trying to stay warm over in that Stanford dugout. And his first pitch to the Cal right fielder is a ball. Kretschmar trying to do what he did not do in that first inning, which was get ahead of these Cal hitters. But there he evens the count at 1-1. Matthews facing Kretschmar, then Max Handren, and then Carson Crawford. Working quickly off the end of the bout. Slow poke over to Drew Bowser. Completes the play to Carter Graham. 1 out. And now here's Max Handren. Handren and Kretschmar, back-to-back lefties for Cal. 2 of the 4 lefties in the order for the Bears tonight. And on appeal, did he go? He did not. Said the third base umpire, Frank Flugret. Handren, a junior college transfer. The 1-0. And it's down 2-0. And Mike Noon, no doubt, in that dugout, this Cal team knows you can't get them all back at once, but just got to try and chip away, get some runners on base. They got runners on base this weekend against Arizona State. They just really struggled to score with runners in scoring position over the weekend. Account full now from Matthews. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good pitch. Second strikeout for Quinn Matthews in the game. And that'll be Carson Crawford, the shortstop. Crawford's got a little streak going. Not a little streak, a big streak. He's reached safely in 16 straight games. Kept it rolling when he walked on Monday in the win over Pacific. He's gotten on base, especially for a 7th place hitter. 365 on base percentage this year. 1-0 is low. Matthews just keeps banging himself on that back plant leg, that left leg, as he continues to fall behind these Cal hitters. Quickly, but he's going to take a moment here with the count at 3 balls and no strikes. Looks into more, now ready. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And a 4-pitch walk to Carson Crawford. So Crawford extends his reach safely streak to 17. And that'll be Nico Button, the DH. Cal trying to start a 2-out rally here after Stanford scored 5 runs in the top of the second. The pitch from Matthews. And there's a strike to start. Crawford held on by Graham over at first. And the 0-1. And it's now a ball and a strike. There is an appeal, but he did not go again on that appeal. Button, just a sophomore, getting his first playing time of his career this year. like so many of these Cal hitters. There's a breaking ball in for a strike, the slider. And it's 1-2. Matthew's trying to settle in here. Not that it's been messy, but he probably would admit it hasn't been efficient. But that was very efficient. Called strike 3, third strikeout of the game for Matthews. Button didn't like it. But Crawford works around Matthews works around the 4-pitch walk and throws up a 0 after his offense put up 5 runs. Rollins. On to the third inning here in Berkeley, and Stanford with a 5-0 lead over the Bears. 5 runs in the top of the second, and they got a new pitcher to face now. As Tyler Stasiowski comes out of the Cal bullpen. Just 2 innings of work for the starter Daniel Colwell. Was not expected to go long, but they would have preferred, I think, a little more. Definitely in terms of distance, but the bullpen was ready for this, knowing this would be a big night for them. So Stasiowski steps up, the junior in his first year at Cal after transferring from Santa Rosa Junior College. He'll face the man that led off the last inning for Stanford, Malcolm Moore. Was hit by a pitch and eventually scored on the Alberto Rios homer. Rios, Owen Cobb, and Carter Graham all hit home runs in the second. 5, 6, 7 part of this Stanford order. And more waves and misses in strike 2. Stasiowski. Last pitch against Arizona State on Sunday. There's a swing and a miss. Loma Vida throws on to Schultz at first. Stasiowski actually appeared twice in that ASU series. 1 2/3 innings of work on Friday night, and faced 3 batters, did not record an out on Sunday. Here's Drew Bowser. That fastball overthrown and to the backstop 1-0. Bowser flew out to center his first time up. Last inning. The 1-0. Now it's 1-2 after Bowser swings and misses. Alberto Rios, who got the scoring started last inning, is on deck. Stanford on a 6-game Pac-12 winning streak, swept Utah and Oregon State at home. That's in the dirt, and it's 2-2 before heading off to Oklahoma. That series in Norman was a bizarre one. Stanford won 2, they lost 2. They won 2 games by a combined score of 39-16, and they lost 2 by a combined score of 7-5. 1-2 pitch, and Bowser swings and misses. Stasiowski with a couple of strikeouts here in the third, and that'll be Alberto Rios. They won game 1 a week ago Thursday, 23-11, and then won on Sunday 16-5. Rios hit a 2-run home run out to right field last inning. His 6th of the year. Oh no. So 39 runs and wins, 7 runs is all it took to beat him in the other 2. Team averaging 7 runs a game in Pac-12 action. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And it's now 3-0. Stasiowski. Deep breath. Looking into Loma Vida. Rios is hot right now. 3-0. He's taking a strike. Three homers in the last 11 games for Rios now after the home run last inning, as Stasiowski walks him after back-to-back strikeouts to start the inning, and Rios is aboard for the DH, Jake Sapien. Now the 7 runs per game is Pac-12 action, but overall it's almost 9 runs per game on average for Stanford, 8.92. And breaking ball's in there for a strike. The #1 overall offense by more than 20 runs over second place USC. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Stasiowski, second pitcher of the night for Cal. Take it over for Colwell this inning. There goes the runner. Ball is swung on and missed. So Loma Vida will complete the putout over to first. And Stasiowski works around the 2-out walk and strikes out the side. Keeps Stanford off the board here in the third. We go to the bottom of the third inning, and Cal needs run. Well, the Pac-12 baseball tournament is back for year 2 in Scottsdale. And the field has expanded this year from 8 teams to 9 teams. That'll split into 3 pools of 3 teams apiece. Each team guaranteed at least 2 games. And the winner of each pool plus one wild card team, so to speak, a 4th team, will advance. Quinn Matthews pitching to Jack Johnston, the 9th-place hitter who tried to bunt for a hit and bunted it foul. 9-1-2 part of this Cal order. And so the fact that it expanded from 8 to 9 teams is why 9th place is so valuable this year. Cal enters play tonight tied for 9th in the standings. Still a lot of season left. Mentioned it, over half of the season left. 27 games left for Cal and 26 for Stanford. But that 9th place is, at least for the moment, the target. Of course, there's plenty of time to climb higher than that. And that would be the goal. Big opportunity this weekend for Cal, no doubt. Stanford entering tonight tied for first with ASU. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Johnston, and he fights it off. Quinn Matthews from Aliso Viejo, California. Aliso Miguel High School in the Orange County area. He delivers again to Johnston, and again it's fouled away. Big day for his alma mater. A fellow Aliso Miguel great and a Pac-12 alum, Blake Sable, the former USC Trojan, made news today. Johnston swings and misses, and Matthews has his 4th strikeout. Matthews was a freshman when Sable was a senior in high school, and Sable then would go on to play 3 years at USC. But Sable made his big league debut earlier this year, and the Orange County native hit his first big league home run today. Here's Rodney Green Jr. fouling this one high out of play. Sable playing for the San Francisco Giants, playing against Andrew Vaughn's Chicago White Sox. And so USC proud, and Quinn Matthews proud today. Sable, a very odd start to his career, something very rare. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Green, and that slider is low for a ball. But for the USC product, his first big league hit was a bunt, and his second big league hit was a homer. The 0-1 fouled out of play again. There can't be, and it just happened today, so I'm sure there'll be time for somebody to track down the research on it, but there can't be too many guys that started their careers with their first big league hit being a bunt and their second big league hit being a home run. That ball spiked. Matthews' reaction to it. And the count 2-2 here to Green. Rodney Green Jr. in the leadoff spot for the Cal Bears today. Even the lineup a little bit. Struck out his first time up. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. And Green strikes out for the second time. 5 strikeouts now for Quinn Matthews. Matthews coming off that 10 strikeout performance against Oklahoma. So now here's Dom Soto. The Cal third baseman popped out to first his first time up on a really shallow pop. Matthews is not happy with something there on the mound. I don't know if it's the dirt. He got a big reaction to the pitch that he spiked to Green. See him talking to himself there. Here's the 1-0. Man, that was a good pitch. Good bounce back. That was a strike. 1-1. Good fastball. Trying to get in a rhythm. The 1-1. It's fouled away. He is not under the. We are not under all of the major league pitch clock rules, but I think he can pitch in the bigs right now, at least in terms of pace. He is flying. Soto wait for a moment now, and here's the 1-2. And that breaking ball's fouled back out of play. And of course, the home plate umpire, William Van Raphorst, needs more baseballs. Matthews delivers, and now he has really settled in. Strikes out the side, 6 strikeouts on the night for Quinn Matthews. And he's rolling through 3. Today. First to 3, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series here in Berkeley. Second game between these two teams this year. Non-conference game back in late February that Cal won, and they'll go back down to Stanford later in the season for another non-conference game. Second inning of work for Tyler Stasiowski. After coming on in relief in the third, he struck out the side, and he's facing the 9-1-2 hitters. Owen Cobb, who homered his last time. Cobb, then Eddie Park, and then Carter Graham for the Cardinal. Two and 0. That's off speed. Had Cobb out in front, and it's 2-1. Tall task for Cal tonight. The Bears enter offensively 11th in the Pac-12 in runs. That is last, of course. The 2-1 pitch, and it's now 3-1. Cal has pitched well. Their starters have pitched well. We've got a pretty good feel for their bullpen. Here's the 3-1. And that's a strike. It's now 3-2. And so they were kicking themselves a little bit on Sunday when they let a series win against Arizona State get away from them with a bullpen implosion. The payoff pitch to Cobb, chopped foul at third. We'll do it again. They were leading. Of course, they lost game 1 of that series. Won game 2. We're leading 8-6 going into the 8th inning on Sunday, and the Sun Devils scored 9 runs in the inning. Here's another 3-2 pitch. This one popped up with Cobb lunging for it. Schultz, the first baseman, Handren, the second baseman. It's Schultz who makes the play, and that's the first out here in the 4th.
Cardinal number 22, Eddie Park.
And for the third time, we'll go to the top of the Stanford order for Eddie Park. So a 9-run 8th inning did Cal in on Sunday, and it hurt. They had so much momentum that the walk-off, come from behind and then walk-off win on Saturday. 4 pitchers could not hold the lead in that 8th inning, and they would go on to lose 15-10. Eddie Park doubled his last time. Ball hit down into the right field, not into the corner, but towards the corner, and then hustled to beat a throw from Cade Kretschmar. Park can get another hit today. It'll be his 14th multi-hit game of the season, which is number 13 multi-hit games. Lead the Cardinal. That ball hit right to the shortstop Crawford. That's out number 2. And it'll be Carter Graham. Look out, Carter Graham is swinging it now. Homered his last time up, homered on Sunday. It wasn't just the home run on Sunday against Oklahoma. He also had 2 doubles in that game. And he was taking some beefy cuts during batting practice today. Swings you could hear. Swinging hard. The 0-1 pitch. And a count of ball and a strike. Big turnaround for Graham, who started this season 2 for his first 30. But the last month or so, he has really picked it up. And now it seems like the power's coming as well, not just the average. Although he was producing runs, averaging almost an RBI a game in the last 17. Went 4 for 5 on Sunday in the win against Oklahoma. Stasiowski with the 2-1. 5 runs all in the second inning for Stanford, a 3-home run inning. And it was the 2-run homer from Graham that made it 5-0. The 2-2 pitch. Whoa! Right back, up the middle, and into the glove of Stasiowski, who makes the play, and a great play. Woo! Here's the Pac-12 standings entering the weekend. Stanford and ASU both at 7-2. USC 9 wins, but a game back in the loss column at 9-3. And Cal trying to dig out that 3-9 conference record. Quinn Matthews back to work. He seemed to find his groove in the third. He struck out the last 4 batters that he's faced, and 5 of the last 6. Caleb Lomavita singled, the only hit for Cal tonight, back in the first inning. And he went around on that, and that was down to the count 1-2. So Stanford trying to create some space between itself and ASU. Sun Devils hosting Washington State tonight in Tempe. The 1-2 pitch inside. Cougs leading that game right now 4-3. The 2-2 to Lomavita, and he's on base for the second time. That ball was smoked. Nice job by Rios to go sliding to knock it down, but they didn't pick it up clean. Lomavita was thinking double the whole way, and he got it as he tries to jumpstart this Cal offense.
Up now, first baseman.
He can hit. Well, Rios knew, maybe he knew Lomavita was going to try and stretch that thing, because he went flying into the gap. This ball was smoked. And watch Rios try to slide down and keep from getting to the wall. And I think Lomavita was going to try and get to, whether Rios picked that thing clean or not. And he's been aggressive. Here's Peyton Schultz, who flew out to center his first time. First chance with a runner in scoring position tonight for Cal. And Matthews delivers a strike. Cade Kretschmar on deck for the Bears. Loma Vida, freshman All-American last year, the first team All-League. Cape Cod All-Star. The ball gets away from the second baseman Bowser, and Loma Vida's going to hustle over to third. And Matthews trying to deal with Loma Vida at second. And did not make a great throw to the second baseman Bowser getting in there. It looked like Bowser, I think, did not expect. He started to bail and retreat back to his position, and he and Matthews were not on the same page. And it's going to cost Stanford a run. Loma Vida comes home to score, and Cal's on the board. And Loma Vida, with obviously Schultz knocked him in, but Loma Vida, the aggressive double, creating a problem and an error for Stanford, and creating a run. And that ball is from Kretschmar, well fouled down the left field line. One to Kretschmar, big hook in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Kretschmar hit the walk-off home run on Saturday. The Ivy League MVP last year, the transfer from Dartmouth. Off the fists, and the shortstop Cobb's able to track that down for out number 2.
Stepping up now for the Bears, second baseman Max Handren.
That'll be Max Handren. As Matthews nears 70 pitches tonight, Handren steps in 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 6 Ks in the game for Matthews. First pitch eats up the first baseman Graham and gets down into right field. Handren's going to take a wide turn and then hit the brakes as Montgomery got to it quickly, came up firing. Tough play for Carter Graham over at first.
Moving up, shortstop Carson Crawford.
Now runner on for Carson Crawford. Crawford went around. The play at first base for Graham ruled a hit. The error on the throwing error earlier. So 1 error in the inning for Stanford as Crawford takes a strike and it's 0-2. Crawford walked his first time. Here comes pitch number 70 for Matthews in a moment. That's going to have to wait because he checks on Handren. That's up high. It's 1-2. Tough take there from Crawford. Crawford has done a good job getting on base for that 7th spot for Cal this year. The pitch. And a half-hearted swing and a foul tip. 7 Ks for Matthews. And he strains a runner here in the 4th, but a little bit of sloppy play preceded it, and it helped Cal get his first run of the night.
Now,
On to the 5th inning, 3rd pitcher of the night For Cal, Robert Avazian has come out of the bullpen in place of Tyler Stasiowski, who's pitching well. Avazian, you can see the numbers there, just 7 2/3, struck out 7. This was a game that was started by Daniel Colwell. He went a couple. The plan all night was they'd get 2 or 3 out of him, and then it was going to be a bullpen game. They just had a tough inning for him in the second, where he gave up the 5 runs, and it's put Cal behind the 8 ball a little bit. But Stasiowski pitched well, 2 scoreless innings and 3 strikeouts. You wonder how far he can go, how many pitches he can throw, and also probably hoping that, he pitched well. You might need him again in this series, and what should be, at least from Cal's perspective, a little more settled, at least from a starting standpoint, the next 2 days. So Tommy Troy stands in the 3, 4, 5 part of the Stanford order, and he takes a strike. Avazian, the freshman from Pleasant Hill, California, who appeared twice against ASU. Pitched on Friday, pitched on Sunday in that series. A total of 2 2/3 innings between the 2 appearances combined. The 0-2 pitch to Troy. Strike 3, got him. First time Tommy Troy's been retired today. That was Braden Montgomery. Avazian on Friday went an inning, 1 hit with a strikeout in that appearance, and then on Sunday, 1 2/3, 1 hit and 2 Ks. Montgomery grounded to third on a sharply hit ball and flew out deep to right, just into foul territory as last time. Switch hitter batting left-handed, ahead in the count 2-0. The pitch. Too early in the season probably to scoreboard watch, but just keeping an eye on the way the top of the league is shaping up, with Arizona State still trailing Washington State 4-3. USC not playing a league series this weekend. The Trojans are hosting San Diego State. 3-0 pitch to Montgomery, a 4-pitch walk. And he's aboard now for Malcolm Moore. But the ASU, who was just here for that Cal series, will have the big series with Stanford later in the season. Stanford will go to Arizona State for that at the beginning of April. Malcolm Moore hit by a pitch, scored a run, and struck out. And that's in there for a strike. So big opportunity here for the freshman Avazian. It's a Cal staff that lost a lot. 40 starts from the rotation with Joseph King and Steven Zobak, Josh White, and Sam Stoutenborough off last year's team. So it's a young group stepping into big roles this year. That pitch misses, and it's 1-2. Avazian's been a big part of that. A check on Montgomery at first base. Montgomery this year has just 1 steal in 3 tries. Breeze picking up a little bit. here at Evans Diamond. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And the count now 2-2. Utah is visiting UCLA today. And UCLA leading that game right now in the 8th inning, 5-3. They'll visit Stanford. The Bruins will at the end of April. There goes Montgomery. Good throw down to second. Loma Vida put it on the money. And a nice tag. And so it'll be a little help from the defense. Loma Vida's doing a little bit of everything today as Montgomery's caught stealing. Take a look at this Pac-12 legend presented by Graduate Hotels. Stanford coach David Esker was part of the 87 champions in the all-tournament team, the College World Series. 18 years at Cal, the National Coach of the Year back in 2011, and then back to his alma mater 6 seasons ago. And it has gone very well for him back on the farm. Nico Button swings and misses. The strike him out, throw him out to end the 5th inning. Strike to Moore, and then Braden Montgomery caught stealing by Loma Vida. Is how the top of the 5th ended. So now Matthews, his 5th inning of work, he struck out 7, and he works fast. Button shows bunt and takes a ball. David Esker, an assistant at Stanford shortly after his playing career from 91 to 96. So it's appropriate that these two play to finish the week that started with Cal hiring Stanford basketball great Mark Madsen as its new basketball coach. As Nico Button takes a strike. Now you'd wonder, why not, if you're Cal, twist the knife a little and have Mark Madsen throw out the first pitch tonight. He threw out the first pitch on Monday as Button swings and misses against Pacific. Mike New described it as an ephus strike, which means it had a little humpback to it. But Mark Madsen, officially hired last week, introduced Monday, hopped on a plane back to Utah today, back home. His wife just gave birth to their 4th child earlier in the week, end of last week. So a lot going on right now for the Madsen family, but it just adds a little more spice to this rivalry. High in the air, it'll be Bowser, the second baseman, there to put it away. And Jack Johnston is retired for out number 2. Now here's Rodney Green Jr. Rodney Green Jr. has struck out twice tonight. He's been aggressive early in the count, but he's yet to put anything in play. Now he takes a strike on a breaking ball. Mentioned it a couple of times, but he's batting leadoff, not his normal spot. Mike New just trying to shake up the lineup a little bit. And as quickly as as quickly as Matthews works, you file behind him 0-2, you fall behind in a hurry. Now here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That was a very short at bat. Tough night for Rodney Green Jr. so far. 3 Ks for him. 9 strikeouts for Quinn Matthews through 5. On to the 6th inning here in Berkeley, and Stanford leading Cal 5-1. All 5 runs coming in the 2nd inning for Stanford on 3 homers. Cal got one back in the 4th. 5 runs, 5 hits for Stanford in this game. 1 run on 3 hits for Cal. There's Robert Evasion, 3rd pitcher of the Cal night, out for a 2nd inning of work. And he'll face the 6, 7, 8 part of the Stanford order. Drew Bowser, Alberto Rios, and Jake Sapien. Other games going on around the Pac tonight. Mentioned UCLA leading Utah in LA. Washington and Arizona in a back-and-forth game today as Bowser fouls this out of play. Right now at Arizona, Washington leading 9-8. Combined 25 hits between the two teams in that game. The 0-1 pitch to Bowser is up high, and it's 1-1. Oregon and Oregon State were set to play today, but surprise, surprise, rain, and that one postponed. Bowser's still looking for his first hit tonight. Flew out deep to center and struck out in this game. Now this ball will find the hole. That was hit well, squared up on the barrel. And so Bowser is aboard, 6th Stanford hit of the game, and he leads off the 6th with that single in front of Alberto Rios. Rios, good night so far. 2-run home run back in the 2nd and a walk in the 3rd. Soto behind the bag, but foul right in front of Frank Pflugrad, the third base umpire. Soto was itching, wanted to make a play, at least try. And the one thing that we've seen with the pitch clock, you've heard hitters or base runners, I would say complain, just note, is that if you're on first base and you've got any protective gear to put on, here's the 0-1, and that misses. As Bowser does, Bowser wears that protective sleeve on his left hand. Sometimes you don't have enough time to get it on. You saw it for the first pitch, he didn't have it on. Because things move so quickly. The 1-1. And there's a strike. And it's 1-2. And Evasion's, he's, I don't know if I'd say he's working quickly. Relatively speaking, it's hard to work any quicker than Quinn Matthews is working, but he's working. That ball at the feet, and did it hit him? It did. So Rios gets hit by the pitch, and he's on base again. Still getting that protective sleeve right. Now here's Jake Sapien. Or not. Going to have a pinch hitter, looks like. Sapien struck out a couple of times tonight. And so David Esker is going to call Timo Becerra to the plate to pinch hit. In the DH spot, Sapien. In a big spot, trying to add on. Big spot for both of these teams. Cal definitely has to feel like he can't fall much further behind. And for Stanford, knowing that its bullpen has not exactly been a slam-the-door bullpen, should they have to go to it, they'd like to add on here. So Timo Becerra from California's Central Valley, a sophomore from very good baseball program in Clovis, lays down a nice bunt. Evasion's only play will be to first, and Becerra comes in and does the job. Sacrifices Bowser over to third, and Rios up to second. And so 2 runners in scoring position now with 1 out for Owen Cobb. Cobb is homered in this game and popped out. He swings to the first pitch and fouls it back. No action in the Cal bullpen. Stanford bullpen quiet as well. Evasion's pitch is lifted out towards left. Johnston started back, now comes in on it. Tagging from third base is Bowser, and he's going to score. And some situational hitting for Stanford gives the Cardinal its 6th run of the night. 6-1 now the lead. Sacrifice fly from Owen Cobb. And Bowser knew immediately this would be deep enough. Rios stayed at second base. And now here's Eddie Park, the leadoff man, with 2 outs and a chance at another. Spin and a throw back. Shortstop Crawford trying to sneak in behind of the base runner Rios. Park 1 for 3 tonight with a double. The pitch on that off-speed pitch fouled it back, and it's 0-1. Park doubled back in that second inning, was on base when Carter Graham hit the 2-run homer. The 0-1. Off the fist, and that's going to drop in front of the left fielder Johnston. Rios is coming around third base. Johnston up with the throw home on the money, but the catcher Loma Vida couldn't squeeze it, and Stanford scores again. RBI single for Park, and it's 7-1. Take another look at this. That was a close play. And now here's Carter Graham. He takes a big cut and fouls it off. Graham homered back in the second. And we don't have the exit velocity data, but that might have been the hardest ball he hit tonight, because he hit a ball in the 4th. A line drive right back at the pitcher, who at the time was Stasiowski, caught it. This ball is fair. Just squeezes it inside the bag at first base. That's going to get another run home. On his way to second base with a double is Carter Graham, and it's 8-1.
Now batting for Stanford.
Good base running from Eddie Park. You can't place it down there any better. Three runs in the inning for Stanford. 2 of them coming with 2 outs. All started with a single by Bowser, and then Rios got hit by a pitch, and then the beautiful sac bunt by Timo Becerra to put 2 runners in scoring position. Tommy Troy been on base a couple of times tonight. Singled in the first inning, walked in the second, and struck out against Evasion in the 5th. Big lead at second base. And there goes the runner. Why not? A swing and a miss. And Tommy Troy strikes out. Carter Graham was almost the third base when it happened. He's had a good game tonight. Stanford's offense bangs out 3 more against Evasion, and it's now 8-1 Cardinal. On to the bottom of the 6th inning, and Stanford leading Cal 8-1. 3 more runs in the 6th inning. And Quinn Matthews is getting the run support tonight that he did not get last week when he struck out 10 batters at Oklahoma. Gave up 2 runs, and Stanford lost the game 2-0. Matthews starts every inning, focusing off into the distance, and now locks in for the number 2 hitter, Dom Soto. Soto, Loma Vida, and Peyton Schultz. Cal's had 3 hits tonight. 2 of those 3 hits have been from Loma Vida, who's on deck. The 1-0 to Soto is a strike. So Matthews coming off a 10 strikeout performance last Friday. Here's the 1-1. And he's got 9 strikeouts in this game. If you're wondering, that 10 is not his career high. His career high is 11 strikeouts. This ball chopped out to right and a base hit. Or not chopped, flown out to right and a base hit. 4th hit of the game for Cal. And that's what they need. Somebody on base in front of Caleb Loma Vida, who's had the best night tonight by far for the Bears. Matthews has twice struck out 11 batters in his career. Both occurred last year, once against Oregon State, once against Washington State. Loma Vida, a single, a double, and a run scored tonight for Cal. So he's feeling good. He's thrown out a batter. It's thrown out a runner, trying to steal as well. Soto on over at first. If nothing else, Cal would love to get into the Stanford bullpen a little bit, just to set the stage for the next couple of days. Although with a lead this sizable, who knows how much they could really hurt the pen, especially the way Matthews is rolling right now. There's a strike as he nears 90 pitches. And there is action now. Time to get some stretching up, warm up a little bit down in that Stanford bullpen. Here comes pitch number 90 from Matthews, and Loma Vida waves and misses. Strikeout number 10, second game in a row that Matthews has 10 Ks. Back-to-back Ks for him a few times in this game, and I was going to try and get Peyton Schultz for the first time. Soto on at first. Schultz locked in a run his last time with a ground out to short. Golfs this high in the air to right. Montgomery over right in front of the 320 marker, and he makes the catch. And Montgomery threw that ball in like he wished Loma Vida would tag. He has an arm. Hasn't pitched much this year, but so he's got plenty of juice in that arm right now. He shows it off. I say Loma Vida. He was hoping Soto, who's the runner at first base, would tag. Loma Vida struck out a moment ago. Now here's Cade Kretschmar, who's 0 for 2. Grounded out to second and hit a soft liner to short. Soto back in easily. Soto this year has run once, stolen 1 bag. Matthews will throw again. Kretschmar, the hero here on Saturday night when he hit the walk-off home run against Arizona State. Now the pitch home, and that bends in for a strike on the inside edge. 1-1. Matthews has not really been in much trouble at all today, but early in the game he was falling behind these Cal hitters. And about the 3rd inning, he really started to even solve that problem. That slider's off the plate, and it's 2-1. Already thrown over 3 times at first base with Soto taking a modest lead. The 2-1 pitch inside, and it's now 3 balls and a strike. So Matthews just going to take a quick moment to step off the mound. Here's the 3-1, and that is strike two. Stanford will have the freshman right-hander Matt Scott making his 5th start of the year tomorrow. Cal expected to put Christian Becerra on the mound. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 11. And Quinn Matthews matches a career high. It's the 3rd time he's got 11 Ks. It's a season high. And he's helped Cal to 1 run through 6. Art. 7th inning here in Berkeley, and Stanford leading Cal 8-1. The offense has been there. Quinn Matthews has been lights out for Stanford on the mound. 11 strikeouts for him. So he's hot. He had 10 strikeouts on Friday against Oklahoma. Robert Evasion back out. Inning number 3 for him. And his job twofold, of course, trying to just minimize the damage offensively, but trying to give Cal good bullpen innings here, just the first game of this series, knowing they got 2 more games against the Stanford lineup to battle through. Braden Montgomery, Malcolm Moore, Drew Bowser here in the 7th. Montgomery 0 for 2 with a walk. Big cut at that breaking ball and a miss. Montgomery caught stealing back in the 5th on a strike him out, throw him out. The 1-1. And that was a huge cut. And now it's 1-2. Montgomery entered with a .545 on base and a .759 slugging percentage. Both those numbers leading the Pac-12 coming into tonight's action. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Another breaking ball, and he was waiting for that. And hit it a mile high, but foul. So what's Evasion going to throw him here? Here's the 1-2 pitch. Up high. Braden Montgomery has made 4 pitching appearances this year, but not since early March against Cal State Bakersfield. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and he sprays that the other way. 7 total innings of work on the mound for him. It was the 2-time John Olerud two-way player of the week last year as a freshman. This ball hit well out to center. Rodney Green Jr. coming over, and he'll put it away. Some good contact to that AB for Braden Montgomery, but nothing to show for it. And he's the first out here in the 7th. Now here's Malcolm Moore. Moore hit by a pitch and a couple of strikeouts. He scored a run tonight. He had a good series at Oklahoma. 10 RBIs in the series. In large thanks to 2 homers in the opener Thursday, including a grand slam at his first at bat. Stanford just jumped all over Oklahoma early in that game. So with the 2 home runs Thursday, Moore now has 7 for the season. He plays close to home as it is, but in this series playing closer to home. And this ball hit hard but right to the second baseman, Handren. And it's out number 2. Just to finish the thought on Moore, he went to McClatchy High School in Sacramento. Sacramento to Stanford's an easy drive, but Sacramento to Berkeley's even easier. He's retired for out number 2. Now Drew Bowser. And Bowser right on that. Fouls it back. Bowser singled and scored his last time. I mean, the numbers that this Stanford lineup put up against Oklahoma are just ridiculous. That was a good pitch from Evasion. Here's Bowser's version of the ridiculous Oklahoma numbers. Reach base 10 times in the series against the Sooners. Bowser hit 18 home runs last year as a sophomore. Sprays that out of play. Got 5 so far this season with about half a season left, plus a postseason. One-two pitch. Big breaking ball. And Evasion gets Bowser to strike out for the second time tonight. Third strikeout for Evasion. Time to stretch here in Berkeley. Cool night, clear night here in the Bay. This big series between Stanford and Cal. 9th-ranked Stanford and a Cal team viewing this series as a big opportunity, no doubt, but they have had a rough night at the plate against Quinn Matthews as Handren puts that on the ground. Over to Bowser, who makes a nice play to Carter Graham to complete the first out. And that's good news for Matthews, who's would love to go as deep in this game as he could. To get a one-pitch out here in the 7th is great. 11 strikeouts in this game for Matthews, which matches a career high. 3rd time he's done it. It's a season high. Here's Carson Crawford coming off the 10 strikeout performance Friday at Oklahoma. The 1-0. And that misses for a ball. 2-0. Crawford, then Nico Button, the DH. 2 up here for the Bears. 100 pitches for Matthews tonight. This ball hit well out towards left field. Rios back, and that ball is gone. Carson Crawford with a solo shot. And Cal now trails 8-2.
Make some noise for Carson Crawford's home run. His 3rd home run of the year.
For Crawford, that's home run number 4 this season.
Number 30, Nico Button.
This ball was smoked. And now here's Nico Button. Button, the DH, struck out twice against Matthews in this game. The 1-0. And even with that home run, still to this point has been certainly one of the best Stanford pitching outings of the year. The other run is unearned. A 2-1 pitch, and that's inside, and it's 3-1. Game 2 of the series tomorrow night, 7:05. First pitch, just like tonight, and then Saturday it's a 6:05 first pitch. Should be good pitching matchup tomorrow with Matt Scott scheduled to go for Stanford and Christian Becerra. A couple of young pitchers. Becerra, the sophomore, Scott, the freshman. That breaker's up and in, and Button walks here in the 7th, and that would be Jack Johnston. Tell Matthews wants to keep this outing tight. Does not want it to fray here at the end. And then Saturday, it'll be the junior Joey Dixon making his 5th start of the year against Palshan Pasqualato, who's been a good comeback story this year for Cal. Pasqualato coming off the Tommy John surgery that cost him all of last year and half of the year before. Threw 90-plus pitches against Arizona State over the weekend. And Mike New saying he's finally off of a pitch count. Johnston, the 9th-place hitter, facing Matthews. Here comes pitch number 110. And that is strikeout number 12, a career high for Quinn Matthews here tonight in Berkeley. What a dominant performance. And Rodney Green Jr., who's struck out 3 times tonight. Well, you go back to the Friday outing, and now it's 22 strikeouts in his last 14 1/3 innings for Quinn Matthews. The 0-1. And Green just trying to avoid that fate, if nothing else, for the 4th time tonight. It was strikeout number 1, strikeout number 5, and strikeout number 9 for Matthews in this game. Tough matchup, lefty on lefty. Here's the 0-2, and that misses. Ten Ks and 7 2/3 on Friday, and 12 strikeouts so far through 6 2/3 tonight for Matthews. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him again. Matthews has struck out Green 4 times tonight. 13 Ks, a career high for Quinn Matthews. One of the best starts for a Cardinal this year. Eighth inning here at Evans Diamond, Stu Gordon Stadium. 8 runs, 8 hits, and an error for Stanford tonight. 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for Cal. First of this 3-game set between the two rivals. Second game of the year. Cal won the first meeting back in February. It was a non-conference game. Sunken Diamond. 7, 8, 9 hitters. Here's Alberto Rios. Takes a big sweeping curve for a strike. Rios homered back in the second. Has walked and been hit by a pitch tonight. Stanford right on its 8 runs per game average, just about. Another big breaker. Although overall in the year they're averaging almost 9. If you round up, it is 9. When it comes to offense, you got to round up. Here's the 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Evasion beginning his 4th inning of relief, had the 3-run 6th, and then faced the minimum in the other 2 innings. The 2-1 pitch, high in the air, shallow left. Johnston coming in, the shortstop Crawford out, and it's Crawford who makes the catch. And now Timo Becerra. Becerra came into the game in the 6th inning in place of the DH who started the game, Jake Sapien, and had a sacrifice bunt that helped jumpstart another scoring inning for Stanford. 5 runs in the 2nd, 3 in the 6th for the Card. .50 pitches out of the pen for Evasion tonight. Becerra appearing in his 9th game of the season here tonight. 3 hits in 7 at-bats on the year. 1 Pac-12 hit came against USC. A couple hits against Cal State Bakersfield as well. He's Scored 5 runs over the course of the season. Sprays that foul over by the Cal dugout. Becerra, just a sophomore. Here's the 3-2. On the ground, but to the perfectly placed second baseman, Max Handren, who throws him out at first, and there's 2 down. Well, here's the 9th-place hitter, Owen Cobb, who's had a good game. A couple RBIs for him tonight. Solo shot back in the 2nd, and a sacrifice fly in the 6th. Evasion working with some rhythm. That misses, and Cobb ahead of the count 2-0. Cobb, the senior from Seattle, definitely made the most of his opportunity this year. For Stanford, this ball high in the air. Long run for Schultz. He's got room, and with every inch of space, he finally gets over and makes the play. A lot of space to cover, and Schultz played it perfectly. And so a 1-2-3 inning. The 3rd such inning for Evasion. He's had a good relief work, but Cal's down by 6. Well, Quinn Matthews' night is done as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Drew Dowd, one of the key relievers for this Stanford team, comes out of the bullpen. David Esker not messing around. Does not want to give Cal any glimpse of hope. It's been a Stanford bullpen that has been a little sporadic this year, so they go to one of their best relievers, Drew Dowd, after what was a fantastic night for Quinn Matthews tonight. The left-handed senior never got in much trouble and had a career performance, one of the best performances of the year for Stanford pitching. He went 7 innings and struck out a career-high 13 batters. Went deep into this game, over 110 pitches, and he did his work. And so he'll watch Drew Dowd try to finish it off. Just 2 walks, 2 runs, only one of them earned. 5 hits, at least for now, one of them earned. And so Drew Dowd pitched just once in the 4-game series against Oklahoma, comes on. Dowd had a long outing on Saturday. He went 3 1/3 in that game, allowed 6 hits, walked 3 batters, and allowed 4 earned runs. He did strike out 5. So maybe Stanford just wanted to get him quickly back onto the mound, kind of get the taste out of the mouth of that Oklahoma game. Dowd's going to face the 2-3-4 part of this Cal order. Dom Soto, 3rd baseman, steps in to start. Fouls the first pitch he sees out of play. Soto, Caleb Lomavita, and Peyton Schultz. Junior Dowd throws, and going around with Soto, and he's quickly down to the count 0-2. 22 2/3 innings of work this year. 24 strikeouts in those 22 2/3 against 14 walks. Hit sharply and off the glove of the diving Bowser, and that'll be a hit for Dom Soto.
Catcher, Caleb Lomavita.
Second hit of the day for Soto. Now here's Caleb Lomavita. Lomavita's had a good night at the plate. A single, a hustle double, and a run scored. Also struck out once against Quinn Matthews. Pitch low. We have not had a double play turn in this game. The 1-0. Stanford trying to make it 9 wins in their last 11. They can put this one away tonight. Stanford will go to Oregon next weekend. Big wave and a miss from Loma Vita. And then Stanford will have what Cal has right now. Cal's in the midst of right now, which is an 8-game homestand. Cal's homestand continues Monday when they host Nevada. Check on the runner at first with a soft throw. And then even Tuesday, if both teams play Monday, Tuesday, non-conference, both games for Stanford will be at home against Texas Tech. Cal will play Nevada here Monday and then go play St. Mary's a short drive away. Loma Vita, towering fly to left. Rios back to the wall, and that ball is gone. Loma Vita with a 2-run shot, and Cal pulls within 4. The kid can play. Now, talking to Mike New before the game, he moved Loma Vita and Green around in the order, hoping to jumpstart something. Didn't work for Green so far tonight, but for Loma Vita, he has been a menace. Feeling good as Peyton Schultz takes a strike. Loma Vita home run number 6 on the year for him. Quickly strike 2 to Peyton Schultz. Loma Vita, I was going to say, talking to Mike New, he did play last year. Had a really good year, but predominantly as the DH. This is his first year as the everyday catcher. Quick 1-2-3 strikeout of Schultz. That's the first strikeout for Dowd. And, Mike New said that's something to work through. You got a young player who has to play every day behind the plate, making the adjustment from DHing. That's a big adjustment, and maybe that caught up with him a little bit. Boy, it looks like it's uncaught. As Kretschmar takes a strike, Loma Vita plays not just with such aggressiveness at the plate, but you can just kind of feel his presence as an emotional spark plug for this team. He got the double earlier, yelling at his dugout. And really trying to bring these Bears along with him. It's up high. One and 2 the count to Kretschmar, who's not reached base today. And that is called strike 3. So Dowd responds after the 2-run homer with back-to-back strikeouts. And now here's Max Handren. Take another look at that pitch. That was a beauty. Well framed by the catcher, Malcolm Moore. So for Dowd, he did not give up his first home run of the season until the game against Oklahoma on Saturday. It's a strike to Handren. His first 10 outings of the year did not allow a big fly, and now he's given up a home run in each of the last 2 games. Carson Crawford, who homered his last time up, is the on-deck hitter. The 1-1. Sprayed down the left field line, racing over Rios, and that ball is foul. Handren was running down the first base line, begging that ball to stop slicing, but it would not. One run in the 4th, 1 run in the 7th, and 2 here in the 8th. For Cal, the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. So Dowd responds after a leadoff single and then the two-run home run from Loma Vida. He strikes out Schultz, Kretschmar, and Handren, and we go to the ninth. On to the ninth here in Berkeley. Ninth-ranked Stanford back in the Bay after winning 2 games at Oklahoma over the weekend. And feeling good right now. 8-4 lead. For David Esker's squad in the first of this rivalry 3-game set. All things considered, Mike New has to be really pleased with the work that Robert Evasion has done in relief today. 3 runs in the 6th, but in the other 3 innings that he's pitched, he's faced 9 total. Here's Eddie Park. And he, for the most part, has now helped keep Cal within striking distance and trying to keep the deficit at 4. Eddie Park, 5th time to the plate tonight for the leadoff man for Stanford. Double, a single, a run scored, 2 for 4. Park, then Carter Graham, then Tommy Troy due up. It is never easy facing this lineup. They hit 9 home runs in the 4-game series at Oklahoma and have hit 3 home runs in this game. The 2-1 to Park. 2-2. All 3 of the homers came back in the 2nd inning. And for a moment, it must have felt like Stanford was just going to run away with it. Carter Graham hit the 2-run homer that made it 5-0, the 3rd homer of that inning. Here's the 2-2, and this ball hit well out to right, but right at Kretschmar, who barely has to move. 1 down. Now Carter Graham, who has swung it well tonight. 2 for 4 doesn't fully tell the story because he also, one of the outs that he made, squared the ball up. I mean, truly squared it right back to the pitcher. A line drive right back where it came from. It was caught for an out. Chops this one. Going to be a tough play. Crawford charging in. The shortstop. Good throw on the run. Over to Schultz at first to get Graham for out number 2. And now Tommy Troy coming up. Crawford made this look easy. For Evasion, not only has this been a critical outing for him to help Stanford keep its bullpen together at the beginning of this series. Tommy Troy struck out his last 2 times, takes a ball. But it also is Evasion showing Mike New a little what he can do. This is the freshman's longest outing by far this year. The 1-0. And that just missed. And it's 2-0. Only once had Evasion worked through 2 innings before tonight. He's behind here 3-0. He came on in the 5th and is trying to complete his 5th inning of work. He entered play tonight with 7 2/3 total innings so far this season. So this is by far the most that Mike New and staff have asked of Evasion. And he's answered. He has answered the bell for sure. Trying to finish it off here, but a tough spot. Pitch number 70 is a 3-1 to Tommy Troy. And the count is now full. Third pitch of the night is Evasion after a couple innings from Tyler Stasiowski. Daniel Colwell started, but Just went 2 innings for the Golden Bears. Here's the payoff. And Troy stays alive. Braden Montgomery is on deck for Stanford. 8 runs, 8 hits, an error for Stanford tonight. 4 runs, 7 hits for Cal. Combined, the two teams have hit 5 homers. Here's the 3-2. A big hook into the hole. Tough play. Crawford, long throw. But with Troy running, no chance to get him. Still made that play closer than probably most would have. And for Tommy Troy, it's his 2nd hit of the night. So he's able to get Braden Montgomery on, or up. Montgomery been on base once tonight via the walk. Montgomery had an at-bat his last time that featured a skyscraper foul ball down the right field line, a line drive foul down the left field line, and then a line drive out to Rodney Green at center. So he swung a little better than the result would indicate. 2 outs and a man on, and they'll check on that man. Tommy Troy over at first. Troy has not tried to run tonight. A 1-0, and Montgomery holds off, and now ahead of the count 2-0. Evasion trying to keep the deficit at 4. The 2-0 pitch. What a big breaking ball in there for a strike. And the rain is picked back up here at Evans Diamond. Cal will have to tarp this field tonight with more rain in the forecast this evening. 2-1. That ball is hit high in the air, center field. Rodney Green started back, now comes back in, and he puts it away. And Braden Montgomery's got to feel like he is so close to hitting one out. Last chance for Cal as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Bottom of the 9th inning for Cal. Stanford leading game 1 of this series 8-4. But Cal got 2 runs off of Drew Dowd in the 8th on the home run from Caleb Lomavita, and trying to put a scare into Stanford here in game 1 of this series. Game 2 tomorrow, 7:05, and then 6:05 on Saturday night. Bottom of the Cal order due up: Carson Crawford, Nico Button, and Jack Johnston. Crawford, he's had a good night. He's walked and homered. The home run back in the 7th inning, which at the time cut the Stanford lead to 8-2. Drew Dowd came on in the 8th, gave up a couple of hits, the 2-run homer, and then struck out the side after that. And he starts Crawford with a ball. Quinn Matthews, the Stanford starter tonight, went 7 innings, a 5-hit ball, and struck out a career-high 13 batters. And Dowd trying to finish it off. 1-0, and that skips away. Arizona State is trying to come from behind, threatening in the bottom of the 9th inning in a 1-run game against Washington State right now. Washington State leading 5-4, but the Sun Devils have 2 on and 2 out. Game relevant because still a long way to go, but Stanford and ASU both tied in the loss column for first place in the regular season race. Of course, USC will be a part of that race. Both ASU and Stanford entering play tonight 7-2 in the Pac. USC 9-3 in Pac-12 play. Here's the 3-1 pitch. And it's 3-2. USC not playing a league series. They're playing San Diego State tonight. They're drubbing San Diego State tonight, to be more specific. Around the league, UCLA beat Utah, and Washington beat Arizona 13-8. And Cal starts with a walk here in the ninth. Good at bat there from Carson Crawford. And now here's Nico Button, the DH. Now time for a chat. Thomas Eager, the Stanford pitching coach, the fantastic Stanford pitching coach, out for a conversation. He was here at Cal as a pitching coach for David Esker, now over at Stanford with him, and that'll be the night for Drew Dowd. So tough night for Dowd, who they went to. He was hoping to come in and clean it up. 6-run lead when he entered, a 4-run lead when he leaves. As Stanford goes to the bullpen, we'll be back after this. New pitcher for Stanford is Brant Pantzer. Comes on in relief of Drew Dowd, the right-handed junior from Georgia, who appeared in the Oklahoma series a third of an inning in each outing, including a 4-pitch strikeout on Saturday. Making his 15th appearance out of the pen, 3.79 ERA. Look at the strikeout to walk. That would be a ratio, 18-1. We could do that math pretty easily. That's good. And so when you got Quinn Matthews with 13 strikeouts and an 8-2 lead, you think, oh, cruise. But Cal's got to feel good about getting a look at Pantzer here. Who knows? Maybe in a high leverage spot later in the series, this will come back to help. That's not what Cal's thinking right now. They're thinking, let's make some magic happen. 4 runs. The deficit, a man on with nobody out. Carson Crawford walked, and so now here's Nico Button, the DH. The 8th place hitter in a big spot, and he takes a strike. Button and Jack Johnston. And you know who would love to get up to the plate in this game? Times. Nobody out, 2 on. And Bougie takes a strike. Rodney Green Jr. in the on-deck circle. And he's got to be itching to get up to the plate. He's 0 for 4 with 4. And he's got to be itching to get up to the plate. He's 0 for 4 with 4 Ks tonight. Crawford at second after the walk. Nico Button, who just singled, is at first. The 0-1. And that's strike 2. The first baseman, Carter Graham, is guarding the line very closely behind the bag over at first. There is Green on deck, the leading hitter for this Cal team, who's had a rough night. 0-2, up high. Bougie wouldn't chase. Two home runs for Cal tonight, 3 home runs for Stanford. The 1-2 pitch, swinging a drive out towards left. Back going, Rios at the wall. He leads. It is gone. A pinch hit, 3-run home run for Bougie, and Cal is within 1.
Home run for Tucker.
The first home run of his career is dramatic. Wow.
Stepping up to the plate for the Bears, center fielder Rodney.
He was hitting .098 on the season, was Bougie. The sophomore had never hit a home run, and he goes 3-run shot to the opposite field, and it's now 8-7. And now here's Rodney Green Jr. Green 0 for 4 with 4 Ks in this game. The pitch from Panzer. Swinging a bouncer over towards first base. Graham's going to pick it up, and the ball gets out of his mitt. And Green is safe at first. That ball was just hit to a really difficult spot. He wasn't going to be able to get it to Panzer probably in time. He's saying the ball was hit out of his mitt. Let's take a look. He's got it cleanly in the glove there. Or maybe he didn't. I don't think Green swung at the glove, but there's going to be a conversation here. Space umpire Stephen Barga talking to David Esker. And now the umpires will confer. The home plate umpire is William Van Rapport, Stephen Barg at first, Frank Flugrat at second, and Christopher Gonzalez at third. Take another look. Oh, you can see the ball is hanging out of his glove. He didn't totally have it. You know, the left hand of Green went up in the air, but I did not think he was swinging at the glove. I certainly could see why, if you're Graham, you'd certainly want it to be that, and I could even see why you would think it was that. But watching it again, that was a good angle we just had. It looked like he was just trying to avoid the tag, so his left arm went up. And the ball was not really in the mitt. He kind of had it snow coned. And that is that. So Green is safe at first base after the long conversation. And he represents the potential tying run. So does Rodney Green, with nobody out, does he try and run here? Caleb Lomavita, who homered his last time, waiting on deck. There goes Green again. A swing and a miss. The throw down to second. Back. The 1-0 pitch. And that's in there for a strike. Brant Panzer coming in relief of Dowd. And this game has gotten mud series. And now he steps up with the bases full, down by 1, and a chance to give the Bears another thrilling ending. Rodney Green is on at third base. Caleb Lomavita, who was intentionally walked, is at second. Peyton Schultz, who just walked, is at first. Stanford led 8-1 going into the bottom of the 7th inning. It's now 8-7 to Kretschmar. He's fouled out of play, 0-1. Kretschmar today 0 for 4. Struck out his last 2 times up. The 0-1 pitch. A breaking ball lined down the left field line, but slicing foul. That gave this crowd a jolt for a moment, but it's now 0-2. Best throwing arm in the outfield is Braden Montgomery in left. In right, excuse me. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swinging a sharply grounded ball to second. Bowser to Cobb for one. On to sharply grounded ball to second. Bowser to Cobb for one. On to first. A double play. Spikes the ball at the end as Graham. And Stanford holds on. What Cal made him sweat. And what a clutch ending for Brant Panzer with the bases loaded in a one-run game. We wouldn't have it any other way. An emotional history between these two and an emotional 8-7 Game 1 win to start off this series. Wow.
Received 3 Cal flag hats.
And Carter Graham felt particularly good. It was his error that started, it not started the action, it didn't start the action, but it started this situation with nobody out. They've got Green on base. Stanford would strand the bases loaded, and Cal's comeback attempt falls just short. An 8-1 game turned into an 8-7 win for Stanford. Game 2 of the series is Friday.